Hello, everybody. It's our next part of the portfolio review. So it's the portfolio review for the participants of our contest. But those who didn't send us your submissions, please feel free to do it because you can still do it. So just to remind you, this is the contest, which will have its climax in October during our Festival of Photography in Bielsko-Biała. And those of you who are successful in our contest will be able to show your work at the open air exhibition, which we hope will be a very good event. And later on, to remind you, the exhibition will travel to Czech Republic, to Slovakia, to Hungary. So it will be a big deal next year, and still a lot of things happening. Some of you already know we had some workshops, some self-publishing workshop, and so some face-to-face portfolio review. But now this is time for next part, other portfolio reviews, which will be going online without your presence, but with your photographs. So you will hear the comments on some of your work, and please reserve the dates. The 8th and the 10th of October, Bielsko-Biała, as I said, during the Photo Art Festival. You will be able to meet our reviewers face-to-face in real life. So it will be not only a festival of photography, but also a festival of meeting with people in reality. That's what we really need. That's what we long for, just to live this online life and to be offline and to talk personally. So again, those who still want to be part of our contest, No Borders Award, please submit your work. You will have more information at our website, which will appear later on downstairs. And now I would like to introduce to you our reviewer from Ukraine, from Kharkov School of Fine Art Photography. It's Igor Manko. I will unmute Igor. Hello, Igor.
Hello.
Great.
Hello, Ines. Hello, everyone.
Hello, it's great that you are with us, and thank you for agreeing to do some portfolio review for us and for our participants.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. So please tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where are you from, what is Kharkov School of Photography? Just introduce yourself, please.
If I start talking about the Kharkov School of Photography, it will take hours. So you only get me 45 minutes. Okay, to start with, I'm a photographer. I've been a photographer, well, my whole life, I could say, because my father gave me my first camera when I was 7, when I went to school. Since then, I've been photographing, and when I got my first professional camera, I decided I wanted to make art photography. And at that time, the Kharkiv School of Photography was in its bloom in the 80s. And I joined the group, the community of those people, and learned a lot, and was part of a group within that community, a photo group. And I only had a break in my photographic career for 10 years because the 90s was difficult part economically, and I had to do something to make a living, to earn a living. And since I'm educated as a linguist, I spent 10 years working on establishing a language school, which I now run. But now I have more time. I'm back to photography. And when was it? Maybe 10 years ago, I started also curating exhibitions, and I got invited by a portal called Vasa Project to curate for them. And I made a few photographic projects of Ukrainian photographers on Vasa project. Vasa is a portal for photography and other media, contemporary media, and it's making exhibitions. It has a special page where they publish theoretical papers, things like that. So, yeah, my latest achievement is actually a huge project on the Kharkov School of Photography that I made for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine. They have special institution called Ukrainian Institute. So they make projects of different aspects of Ukrainian culture and art. And they chose Kharkiv School of Photography, even though it's it was very good of them. It's very courageous of them to choose this, because Kharkiv School of Photography is nothing to do with nice pictures. It's brutal. It's like that. It's contemporary. Okay, so this is more or less all the facts of my biography. Yeah, because I'm a linguist, as I already mentioned. When I analyze photography, I like to use linguistic metaphors, like vocabulary, like grammar. So don't be surprised if I do that, because I think it helps. I think it explains a lot.
Mm-hmm. I hope that during your portfolio review and when you will be commenting on photographs, you will also be given some tips for photographers, what to do and what to avoid, and how to achieve this state of being almost a perfect photographer. So okay, let's go on. Let's show. Let's start.
Let's do it.
Who is the first participant on your list?
The first participant is Anna Potocka-Petrovska.
Okay.
She calls herself Anna Pepe, which I liked a lot. Okay, and here's the first picture. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it. Yeah.
Okay, not this one. No, this is the first picture. It shows a lady who's probably a vendor at this little sklep, the shop for, I understand, antiques and things like that. Very nice, very atmospheric. There are actually there are two things about this photograph. First of all, when I see inscriptions, when I see words in photograph, and not just me, everybody else, you stop looking at this lady, you start reading the inscriptions, and that's not photographic. Okay, so first thing I wanted to do with this, I wanted to take away the inscriptions, and this is this is how I did it. And see, now we also understand it's a shop for antiques, but we don't read it. We can look at all the little things, all the photos, all the details here. And this is how we understand what we are looking at, not because we read the inscription. I didn't like. Can you see my my cursor here as well?
Yes.
I didn't like this part of it, so I removed it this way, and this way, it's the whole picture is more concise, if you ask me. And now the only problem with this picture for me is this black area. Again, if this is street photography, you can't do anything about it, but I would love to see more details here. Maybe turn on the light. Ask the lady to turn on the light in here, or whatever. But a few details here would be informative. Now we don't see we see just some lights here, see, nothing else. So what I would recommend next time is to turn on the light inside the shop. Otherwise, very nice image, very, as I said, atmospheric, and I like it. I like it. Good for a photography magazine. Another question, of course, is contemporary photography avoids being beautiful, and this image is beautiful, but okay, it's the choice of the photographer. The next one, let me change this. The next image, here it is. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's obviously an old courtyard, people sitting there.
If you could say who's the author of this photo.
The same, Anna
It's
Pepe.
the same. Okay,
Yes,
it's again.
we're talking about the portfolio of Anna Pepe.
Okay.
And my first question about this image is over sharpened. You can see it if you enlarge it. I don't know why it's over sharpened, but I don't like this too much, and nobody does that except you have to. Okay, but that's again, we cannot ask the artist about this. It's a very nice picture, but there are many things wrong with it. First, it's this tree branch. It's the tree branch, and if you couldn't move around so that it's not in the frame, what you do is you crop it. And this is what I did to it. Oops. I cropped it. I also removed some extra details left and right, so now it looks better. But obviously, the image was taken because of these reflections in the puddle. I love them, but they are not as active on the image as this part, this wall, because it's light. And in photography, the lightest detail of the image brings your attention. So with this image, my eyes move around, my gaze wanders here and there, looking for the most important part of the image. Okay. So what I did, I tried working with the brightness of the image, and here it is. Now this is darker, and these parts, these reflections, window reflections, are lighter, and I think that brings the viewer's attention where it belongs. Okay. I also thought of using color with this photo. It could be like, sepia colored. Old stuff should be sepia colored. Look at, maybe it's one of the solutions. It's up to the artist to decide, but coloring in sepia makes it look nicer and older. That's basically the idea. So let's look at the number one, the image as I saw it, and these are two suggestions what to do with it. Make some areas of the image darker and maybe turn it into sepia. Next image is called, let me see what it's called. Widok z okna. Widok z okna, here it is. And the caption or artist's statement says, when God closes the door, he opens the window. Again, too many bright spots. In black and white photography, it is very important to see what's the lightest, the brightest detail of the image because it brings attention. In this case, this window, this empty window, reflection of the sky probably, takes all the attention of the viewer. So let's see what we can do with it. First I want to make it darker because it's too light to my taste. So here it is. Now, when we read this photograph, the most important part semantically is this young woman smoking, sitting on the windowsill. But formally, this window is the point of viewers' interest, the point that brings viewers' attention. And this could be an interesting way to break the rule because we are talking about rules, but breaking rules is important in art. So I thought of two improvements here. I tried to add more light to this girl here so that now these two details kind of share the viewer's attention. And I also tried, adding contrast. So this window becomes a window into nowhere, as if there is nothing there. It's just a hole in the wall and there is nothing there. It's, of course, absolutely against the rules, but somehow, sometimes when you break rules, it looks better. Again, it's up to the artist in the end what to do with this. I also tried using color here, but I don't like, oops, I'm sorry. Oh my God, my Illustrator. I'm sorry. Now Illustrator here. Oops. Here it is. I tried using adding color to it, but maybe in this case you don't need it. Maybe it's not what saves the photograph. Again, this is what it was. This is my suggestion of what it should look. And there's one more image of Anna Pepe. Let's see. This is different. If those three could be a series about, old places, old town, things like that, this is what I call a National Geographic photography. It's beautiful. It's very nicely made, executed, but it's about a completely different thing. National Geographic would love it. I suggest two changes here. First, there's too much of this beach here. The beach is dark and no details, and my first idea was to crop it a little bit, and it's already less active, the beach. But then I thought maybe a square composition is even better, more dramatic. Here's my suggestion. Again, it's up to the artist to choose a vertical composition or choose a square composition. In case of this vertical composition, it would have been worth it to make several steps so that this piece of sand beach is not in the frame. And this way, this photo would have been, I believe it would have been better. But square composition, it solves that problem, but it's somehow less dynamic because it's square. Okay, we're done with Anna Pepe. I wish the artist further progress and more experiments and more achievements. The next one is Agnieszka Krywzinska, if I'm right. Krzywzinska.
Yes, Agnieszka Krzywdzińska.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. You are doing very well.
Good. Okay, and Agnieszka is here with this image. Okay, I have several questions here, but before I start, the problem with an individual image is that you never know where it belongs to. What is this? It says, the artist's statement says it's about the bans and limitation during the quarantine, and that people can't go to gyms, so they go to freeze to death in winter rivers. But it could be for, say, a news media, in which case it is important to know the place, and maybe this riverbank here with these bushes, maybe it's an important detail. If it's just for a nice photo, you really don't need these bushes here. And my first suggestion is to take them away from here. Like this. Because here, when you read, I'm a linguist, remember, you read a picture. And the important components of these pictures are these two people and this flock of swans, and maybe the snow here. So we already got rid of the unimportant part of the picture. I like the color accents in this picture. These two people are very well accentuated, maybe you could say, with the color, because with color photography, the accents are different than in black and white photography. But I also see that the swans are, for a reason, too yellow. That's not even true to life, and too much yellow. So my next step is I remove the yellow. See? I remove the yellow, it looks more natural, and also the color accents are better. And one more thing that I did, I added some contrast, so the water is more gray, and this way the water is colder, it looks colder, and these people look like more like heroes in this cold war. Okay, so these are my suggestions what to do with this image. Again, it is very difficult to judge just by one image, which could be part of very different series, very different paradigms. But anyway, moving on. Who's our next artist? The next artist is again represented with only one picture. The artist's name sounds French to me. Bruc Le Merle. And in fact, he's Ukrainian. He's Ukrainian, or he's from Ukraine. He represents Ukraine. And I know this place in Kiev where this photograph was taken. And once again, an individual image tells me nothing of the artist's intention. Humor, irony, yes, it's a humorous sculpture in the first place. And they put a mask over that sculpture. And the artist says in his statement that before the quarantine, people would be sitting next to this old babushka taking selfies. And now there is no one next to her, and there is no one in the whole park, as you can see. So my only suggestion here is a very slight crop and a bit less of the color. I removed some yellow, and in this way the blue becomes more pronounced. But that's it. That's it. I need more pictures from this artist to know, or maybe it's just a funny picture. That's all. Are we moving too fast, Ines?
No, I think it's okay. And I would like just to explain when you have some single images only, because
Yeah.
this was the rule of the competition, because we had single image submissions. So that's why you don't have a series. There was also a category for serious photography, but you have got, I think, only serious, only single.
I understand. But this next photographer, who's Jakub Dobek, he has a series of four photographs. Okay, let's go. Let's see. It's a series of beach photography, and I like it. But again, here are some of my corrections here. First of all, if there is a horizon in the photo, it must be horizontal. I'm really sorry. I understand that this pillar here was what the artist wanted to underline, to emphasize, but this horizon line makes me dizzy. So I suggested a little compromise here, slightly rotating the image. I think I'm less dizzy this way. Another thing about this image, again, it's up to the artist's taste, but I would make it a bit darker, like this. I think it looks better this way. And continuing with this series, again, beach photography, again, people standing with their backs to the viewer. Again, the horizon line needs correction here. Just a little. And again, I could make it more contrast. This way. Next photo from the beach series is here. And I would say not only horizon line, but these railings, they also need photographer's attention. They should be horizontal. And this is how I slightly change. This image, unlike the first and the second image, has this area, out of focus area of the beach in the right top corner. And really, if you think it's important to have this, it should be in focus, and it shouldn't look like you didn't know how to compose your image. Because this looks to me like, where do I take the picture? Okay, behind the back of this lady, so that she doesn't see me photographing. And I would I would look for a better angle or a better position so that this is not in the frame. Or if you need it in the frame, okay, make it in focus. Depth of field is important here. There's one more image to this series. I didn't correct the horizon because this image, to me, doesn't fit within the series, because this lady first is almost facing the camera. The rest of them were standing with their backs to the photographer. That's one uh, misfit. The other is that she's dressed. The previous characters on the images were wearing costumes, swimming costumes, or nothing at all. If you look at this guy, he isn't even wearing a swimming costume. So this somehow doesn't fit in. I wouldn't use it in the series. Okay, moving on. And our next artist is Ilka Olahos. I think is from Hungary. Let me check. No, it doesn't say so. Oh yes, Hungary. That's right.
Yeah, I think it's she's in, yeah. I think it's Hungary.
It's Hungary. It's a single image. And here's the image. Here's the image, and lots of things are wrong with this image. I understand why this image was taken. This is why. If you look at the father and son faces, they have the same expression on their faces. It's so intense expressions. Look at the kid. He looks exactly like his father. Okay, but this is the detail. Maybe the image should be like this. And I definitely made it black and white because on the original image there is too much color for nothing, for no reason, just because there was color. So I tried what I tried to do. I tried to first crop out this blue canopy that doesn't fit in, and slightly decolorize the image. But again, this truck behind the man, it doesn't have to be there at all. So moving around that man, moving around trying to find the position where the frame, the image would be better composed was necessary here. Or take a close up again. Take a close up like this, and you're always on the safe side. There aren't the details that don't add to the image, and we see two very intense human faces. Okay. Well, Yaroslav Kozhov. Yaroslav Kozhov is represented with one image. Very nice, actually. It reminds me of this style of photography called photographics, very popular in the 60s and the 70s. High contrast and nice geometry. What about this image? First and foremost, this black area here, that's not informative at all. There's just no information here, okay? So what we do, we crop it away. This way. This way is more dynamic to me, and I would also mention that this dynamics comes from the fact that the legs, the feet in the image, they march from left to right. It's the way we read, and when the movement in the image is left to right, it's always easier to read. For example, mirror, and these feet stop moving. They or maybe walking very slowly compared to left to right movement. But again, looking at this, uh, too much black to my taste, too much black anyways. And so I tried using color instead of black. This is brown, and this one is blue. This could be a solution, again, up to the artist, but that black was too aggressive, and this blue looks less aggressive to me. Maybe this. So these are suggestions how to improve the original image. To remind you, is too aggressively black. This next. Marta Kazior-Grabowska. Grabowska. The project is called Prague Cat Stories Black and White. I remember that movie, Kusturica, Black Cat, White Cat or something. And I don't think that still allows you to make pictures of cats anymore in contemporary photography. That's just not the thing to photograph. There are too many of them on Facebook and on Instagram, too many of them to multiply cat images in the world. But yet we have this picture. Obviously, the boy with the white cat should be the center, but we are distracted by these light accents on the windows. So again, I used brightness and contrast instrument on the Facebook, and it is a bit better. Then I cropped it to remove extra unnecessary details. Here it is. I also added some white to the white cat. So now this image can be read, I think, the way it was meant to be read by the artist. This white cat is the main character of the image, and the boy and the black cat are also characters of the image, and we don't care about this wall with bright windows anymore. Basically, every time you see an image, you ask yourself, do I need this detail or that detail? Can I get rid of this or that? How do I compose the image so only meaningful details are there. Of course, it's impossible to only have meaningful details, but it is possible to make the unmeaningful details as few as possible. Okay. Mariusz Petranek. Mariusz Petranek. This is interesting. Mariusz Petranek offered 3 individual images, and to me they look like 3 different artists. I can't imagine how a person can make images this different. Look for yourself. This is called Childhood, and it's a very nice image. Yes, I've seen images like that before, but it's still very nice. I would also only try to make it more dramatic with some image rotation, like this. The movement is also more active here. Maybe it would worth it to mention where the image was taken, what's the location of the image, who are the kids of the image. But again, it depends on where you want it to be. If it's in the news or things like World Photo or National Geographic, it is important. If it's for a gallery, it's not important where the image was taken. Okay, so this is Mariusz Petranek, and I was surprised. This is also Mariusz Petranek, absolutely different. It's called Respect the Green, and the only thing I can say about this image is that this diagonal line here is good. To make it even better, I slightly cropped it here. This bubble in the corner is more active, which is good, I think. Otherwise, I can't say anything about this image because, yeah, it's green and yellow, and we don't know what's happening. It's not good enough for as an art photograph, and not informative enough as a documentary photograph. It's somewhere in between. The third image of the same artist I don't understand if it's a museum or if it's a live animal. It's called high five, meaning I understand a handshake. Again, it thematically, the subject of the image, it could be an interesting ecological statement. But formally, all this information on the left is irrelevant, absolutely irrelevant. This is also, I don't know why it is not vertical here. So somehow, all this is also not relevant. So to make it read better, I tried this format, and without those elements, it's more readable. And we understand that this strange animal, maybe it's a possum or something, is the main character. It would be interesting to know whose hand this is, because we don't understand. And then I thought, if I were taking this picture, if I were there, what would interest me as a photographer? And I realized it's this. So if I were to take a photo there, I would be more interested in this geometry and in this strange animal here. But again, this is my vision as a photographer, not the artist. But still, this isn't good because of too many unnecessary, uninformative details. Okay. And my favorite artist, and also alphabetically the last one, is Sobek. Let me see. Václav Sobek. The pictures were taken in Madrid. And also it's interesting because this artist is the only one who put his photographs into art category. The other ones were all in street photography category. So here it is, Madrid. Looks like a city slum, and probably is. But I loved looking at those little details, taking them in. Of course, something is always in your way when you try looking at those little details. For me, it was this. I don't understand what it is, and I don't want to understand what it is. So, since it's not even represented fully in the image, this detail. And this detail also, there's something on this door, but we don't understand what it is. So my first idea was to get rid of those two details. This is how I did it. Oh, this looks much better, much more concise to me, more readable. I like this term, readable, yeah. Also the color. The color is good with dominant reddish brown color. And this element is, for some reason, yellow, maybe because it's a reflection. So I took away unsaturated yellow, and here it is. Now the dominant color is red. No other colors distract us from this. A couple of blue accents, they're good because they play with the dominant red. So I like it. I like it as art, but to make it an art project, it must be a project. Uh, this artist only sent two images, and here is another one. And to me, this is too much, absolutely. And the first image I like much, much better. First, there's too much color information here. This guy doing acrobatics gets lost because of the active colors everywhere here. I tried black and white. Uh, Black and white is also not that readable. Of course, now it cannot be part of the project with the first image because the first image is in color and this is now black and white. But I was thinking what to do, how to make it better. And I had to darken some of the white elements here, like this. Now this acrobat is easier recognizable because I made all the background details darker and less contrast. That's actually what you can do with it, nothing much. And this, it looks like we are done. This is it.
I had to
You
unmute.
didn't interrupt me, Ines. You didn't interrupt me, by the way. I asked you to.
Yeah, I didn't interrupt you because I thought that you are fluent in your thoughts, so I didn't want to break this fluency, because sometimes, when somebody interrupts you, you just lose what you want to say. I would not agree in all of your comments. In some, probably I would have some other suggestions, but it's not my role here, because you are the reviewer here. And but I would like to tell all the participants that this is the chance for you not only to win a solo exhibition in our contest, but first of all, it's a chance for you to make big steps in photography and to improve your photography. And that's why we are here. Please take everything that we say during portfolio review as an advice and as a tip how to go on and how to proceed in photography, so that you are better and better and better each day. And
I only hope this was helpful. My review was helpful for the.
yeah, I'm sure that it was helpful, because each opinion is helpful for us, and the more opinions we have about our photography, the better. We must stay humble always when we listen people talking about our pictures, and we must remember that nobody is perfect. So this is our role as reviewers, just to show people what we would like to improve. But of course, as you also mentioned several times, it's up to the artist to make the final decision.
Absolutely, it belongs to the artist. Yes.
Yeah, whether he or she wants to follow the advice or not, and what he or she will take out of this. But each opinion is very, very valuable. So that's why we thank you very much for that. And I hope we see you personally in Bielsko in October, so that people will have a chance to listen to your advice live, and maybe in bigger number of photographers, because here it was just a selection. And to remind the contestants what we will do next. After all the portfolio reviews that will be online, we will meet with all the jury members, and we will vote who will be the participant of the group exhibition. And this will be the first step. And then from the participants of the group exhibition, we will choose the winner, the person who will be awarded with a solo exhibition. So Igor, thank you very much for your work and for your commitment. I can see that you did a lot of work to help our contestants and to help our photographers. So thank you for advice. I'm absolutely sure it will be helpful, and we'll move our participant photographers farther and farther and higher and higher. And we stay in touch.
Thank you, Ines, for inviting me. Yeah, I was trying to show which ways you could go how to improve your photograph, not telling you what to do, but what you could do. Thanks again for inviting me. Hope for the better, and hope to see you in Bielsko-Biała. And thank you very much, and good luck.
Thank you, Igor. Again, and still one thing for participants, please remember that we are in progress when we know what is wrong, because our role is not here just to say, wow, you are wonderful, wow, you are great, because in that case, you don't improve. That's why we are here, to just give you some advice, as Igor said, but you do with it what you want. So
Our
Ag-
time, yeah.
Again, thank you so much again, and see you in Bielsko-Biała, all of you, Igor and the participants. Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you.